These aren't your average construction clips. At GreenTech, we salute the dozer pros who work like artists and fight like warriors. One slip could cost big, but they make it look easy. Let's roll. Folks, get a look at that Lee Tourneau L1850. With its 33 cubic yard bucket, this loader sets high standards for productivity. To skillfully maneuver something that big and efficiently load huge haul trucks, an operator surely needs years of experience and sharp reflexes. Some of the best operators never touched a touchscreen. They ran these rigs by feel, sound, and instinct. The man unloading that D9G likely learned from years of dust and diesel. That kind of know-how doesn't come from manuals. It's passed down, one lever at a time. This video of the Menzimuck M545 digging out that reservoir in Switzerland truly shows its unique abilities. Witnessing it work on such an extremely steep slope, using its winch and boom to pull itself, demonstrates why it's called a spider excavator. It certainly handles terrain that traditional machines simply cannot. What an impressive sight! That's what happens when a 100,000-pound machine isn't properly chained down. Uphill slopes demand more than just power. Balance matters too.
Нахуй.
How would you get this Chetra back on its feet without damaging the undercarriage? In deep snow like that, using a crane or another dozer seems risky. Anyone ever had to reset tracks in freezing weather?
Одним словом, Chetra.
Well now, seeing that John Deere 7530 pulled out of what looked like bottomless mud in just over 5 minutes is truly something. It just goes to show what a capable tractor like Matthias's CASEIH with that handy trailer wagon can achieve. That's just terrible to see.
Baru dibilang.
Там уже залили перец. Сам ты перец.
It's a testament to the toughness and skill of these Russian workers to get that frozen tractor out in just 10 days. Working outdoors in winter, with snow and ice, requires a special kind of strength and know-how. They certainly represent their country's workforce with pride. One of the first EX8000s to touch down in Australia. Now that's a piece of mining history. At over 1.8 million pounds, this beast helped set the standard for large-scale nickel operations. Just imagining this monster carving into the earth is enough to stir memories of how far mining tech has come. One can only imagine the sheer difficulty of that cleanup. Now it makes sense why they call it a spider. Built in 1983 and still moving, this 6,200-ton bucket chain excavator is a living relic of Cold War engineering. 6 men, 33,000 pounds of oil, and a machine longer than a football field. Seeing this giant crawl out of the mine in time-lapse is like watching a mechanical dinosaur stroll to retirement. Oh no. Eight scoops from a cat, 988, and you've got 240,000 pounds in the belly. That's some serious bulk moving in no time. That's a whole mountain going into that truck. Makes you wonder how the tires even hold up with that kind of weight. Imagine being a driver on that road to Viantoy, when the terrain is so challenging that even specialized trucks like Ural or Kamaz struggle. That's when you really appreciate a sturdy bulldozer. It could forge new tracks and provide the brute force needed to pull out those bogged-down vehicles quickly. Heartbreaking to watch.
Semua kru dah selamat.
Think it's impossible to unload a big rig's 8.5-ton excavator with no ramp? What if the operator just used the machine itself? Check out this clever trick. Bet it'll surprise you. Let us know in the comments. Type 1 if you thought our video was interesting, and 0 if you thought it was boring. This truly looks like something out of a spooky movie. Watching this gave me chills. That edge looked mighty soft, but the operator kept his cool. A foot too far, and that 6-ton beast down the hill. You could tell every move was calculated to the inch. Watching this thing roll out is like stepping back into the 80s. The T170 was a workhorse in tough terrain, and with a full rebuild, it still holds up today. Got any memories of seeing one of these beasts on a job site?
Вообще не шумит.
Reminds me of when my cousin's tractor flipped hauling hay. Forest work's no joke. These young folks need to slow down and plan better. Driving a low bed in the Fraser Valley isn't for the faint-hearted. Tight roads, sharp turns, it's no picnic. For Will, the young driver we're watching here, to handle all that with just an L license, that kid's got something special. I never thought I'd see that landmark go. Life sure moves fast. One minute it's there, the next, just dust.
Уйди нахуй!
Now that's how Grandpa used to deliver the plow. No fancy trailers or GPS, just a good rope and a strong back. Bet it ain't street legal, but sure gives the mailman something to talk about. Classic rural engineering at its finest. That Manson 300 sure is a beast. A hydraulic machine that size, moving logs and cargo like they're feathers, is something else. We're talking about over 600,000 pounds of steel, doing ballet at the dock. Technology's come a long way since the old cranes. A site with no proper support? That's asking for disaster. 2 floors down with no brace means those slabs could give way any second. It doesn't take an engineer to see that's a recipe for a collapse. If this happened near a sidewalk, Someone could get seriously hurt. Just not worth the risk. Reminds me of the rigs hauling timber through the Rockies in the 70s. Pretty impressive to see a whole bulldozer taken apart like that. The power in that VTNCI 7000 is something else. Curious, how long does it usually take to scrap a single machine like that from start to finish? That hinge between the two units is doing all the heavy lifting here. Without it, that rear section would flip like a pancake. Impressive how the Volvo BV202, this old Swede, keeps its cool climbing a near vertical wall. Looks like a T-170 or something close. Classic Soviet bulldozer. Heavy steel, slow but unstoppable. Would love to hear that diesel engine hum again. You can tell the operator knows the Caterpillar D8R inside and out. Using the D8R's weight and blade angle like that takes years of experience. Ever notice how he keeps the traction just right? That's not luck. It's understanding the terrain and the limits of the dozer. Not wearing a belt? Might as well play bumper cars with no rules. Picture the instant a giant rock's about to tip and you can't help but gasp. The Cat D10 was master of the moment, but trust me, it felt just like a loop-the-loop. It was like watching a pro versus a total amateur. The first dozer brought its A game and made it look easy, while the second one was on the struggle bus from the start. Scooping molten rock is just insane. Every single move is a high-stakes gamble against the volcano itself. This isn't just skill, it's pure guts, a true test of courage in the face of nature's power. Somebody skipped the safety briefing. Again.
All right, crappy situation right there. No.
You could see that smoke from half a mile out. Total chaos. Hope no one was hurt. Those cabs can get over 120 degrees Fahrenheit in minutes when flames hit. Look at that bulldozer move. It's like watching a massive metal creature smoothly knock over that tree. You can almost feel the tremor every time it pushes forward. That tire said, "I'm done, buddy." How close can you even get to lava before the hydraulics fry? That thing's working way past its pay grade.
Давай, ходом!
Pulling a 100,000-pound dozer from under ice? That's not a job. It's a winter war movie. Props to the crew for not giving up.
Пошел, шустрее шагает!
Was this a loading or a demolition attempt? Running an Atola truck with a Cat D6E isn't just tough, it takes serious skill. That dozer's built for power, but it's the operator keeping it steady that really stands out.
Tá batendo toque, José? Virou o caminhão. Não vira nós, não.
Imagine steel getting torn like it's paper. That's what happens when today's hydraulics kick in. Those cutting tools apply insane pressure, like a guy tearing through a cardboard box. Just raw, crushing force. This is why loading on uneven ground's a bad idea. Gravity don't play around when you're hauling a beast like that. Only in the Tundra do you rescue a truck with a bulldozer, then need another rescue for the rescuer. Classic chain reaction mess. Makes you respect the kind of grit it takes to work out there. Wonder what kind of gear they had to stay warm through that. Honestly, could have been way worse. Props to the team for staying calm and handling that 637 ECAT scraper like pros. That's real job site leadership. My heart stopped for a second. He was literally inches from being crushed. I hope he realizes how insanely lucky he was. My dad used to do demolition work. He'd always say, plan twice, pull once. I hope these guys followed a solid safety plan. Feels like the Earth's trying to swallow it whole, but this loader's still pushing. Is this the most insane way anyone's ever tried to free a frozen dozer? Looks like the tractor wasn't rated for that kind of incline with that load. Maybe better to use a winch or double rig next time. Still, hats off to the driver for walking away. I never realized bulldozers played such a big role in firefighting. It's smart. Cutting fuel breaks makes total sense. But I wonder, how do they coordinate with firefighters on foot? Seems like it could get dangerous if they're working close together. – Let us know in the comments. Type 1 if you thought our video was interesting, and 0 if you thought it was boring. For small contractors, the D6C hits that sweet spot. Big enough to get serious work done, but not so massive you need a lowboy every time. Plus, parts are still pretty easy to find. Every operator's worst nightmare, a heavy dozer trapped and sinking. With the job site waiting and the terrain fighting back every inch of the way, the pressure is on. Have you ever wondered what it takes to pull a Cat D6N out of a creek bed? Stay tuned to see skill conquer the creek. Notice how the Caterpillar operator gets his blade under the B14 to lift its tracks. That's smart operating. It negates the other dozer's power by reducing its grip on the ground. A classic leverage tactic that works almost every time in these showdowns. A person has to see a machine like the Bagger 288 to believe the scale. It's not just big, it's a moving mountain of steel, hundreds of feet long. You could park a dozen cars in that bucket, a true testament to human engineering. A classic case of hurry up and wait gone wrong. A costly few seconds for somebody. Well, someone's day at the office just got a whole lot worse, didn't it? It's hard to grasp the scale of the Terex RH170 until you see it against that TR100 truck. Each bucket load is likely heavier than a couple of full-size pickup trucks combined. A true titan of the mining world, built for one purpose: moving mountains. If only he'd had access to a machine that could have cut that slope down slightly. Looks like he's fighting the machine more than the mountain. You have to wonder, how many hours does a guy like that really have behind the controls? Now that's some old-school problem solving. Using the machine's own arm and bucket to hoist itself up is pure genius from back in the day. Think this trick is still as effective with today's heavier equipment? Check out the video to see this cleverness in action.
Gantret. Mama.
Yo, that's a real shame. A brand new machine, probably worth thousands, dinged up before its first job. For those just learning about it, the Caterpillar D9H is a true icon. Introduced in 1974 as an upgrade to the D9G, this bulldozer brought 410 horsepower to the field. Its massive size, over 54 tons, made it essential for huge projects. It's a legendary piece of machinery. Think about the cleanup after this is all over. That sticky, gritty mud will be caked into every hose, joint, and bolt. A solid week of pressure washing that thing. What a terrible job. It's great that you're fit, but hazards never take a day off for road construction equipment operators. Dear operator, please always put safety first.
Новая техника прибыла, и сейчас будем наблюдать работу орудия, которое...
Folks living near that forest can sleep a little easier knowing that T-170 is out there. When a fire is chewing up acres of land, a few feet make all the difference. That machine cutting a simple line in the dirt becomes a powerful wall of defense. It's impressive that this T-130, a 150 horsepower machine from the 1960s, is still working. That simple mechanical design is the reason why. They built it to last and to be fixed with tools, not computers. True old-school engineering. From a mighty earth mover back to raw steel, ready for a new purpose. There's a certain honest cycle to it. A powerful machine's final chapter, witnessed on a quiet August morning. Well done. That's a serious piece of American iron. The reach on that long boom is something else, probably stretching out over 50 feet. A Cat 345CL is built for heavy work, and seeing it handle the riverbed so smoothly shows real quality. That machine is earning its keep. It takes a steady hand to manage a machine with this much power on a downhill grade. With 354 horsepower, it's not just about pushing dirt, it's about precise control. One must respect the operator's skill in handling a nearly 44-ton D8R so gracefully. Real craftsmanship at work. There is absolutely no margin for error here. A truly heart-stopping situation to watch. I appreciate how the Liebherr 586's sturdy frame and 70,500-pound weight give it stability on uneven terrain. That 7 to 8 cubic yard bucket handles big loads safely, making it ideal for seniors overseeing quarry operations without worrying about machine tipping confidently. That Cat D8T moves through the Mojave brush like a champion, clearing nearly half an acre per hour with its 12-foot blade and 354 horsepower engine. Impressive power in harsh desert heat.
Mira, mira, se calibró, mira. Bro, mira, es de adelante que viene calibrado. Mierda, coño.
When the trailer's weight shifts completely off the front wheels, steering becomes impossible. Classic reminder to balance fifth wheel load before any steep climb. Well, that's one way to clear a lot. Watching this video, seeing a 30,000-pound excavator tip over in only 5 feet of water reminds you how fast a routine dredging job can turn dangerous. Ever wondered how a 96,000-pound bulldozer handles a slick, ice-covered slope? This Cat D9R runs on Kamchatka winter roads. Would you dare take the controls? This is a true symphony of steel. The floating excavator is the lead instrument, digging deep, while the tracked machines on the shore provide the supporting rhythm, moving tons of earth with every pass. I can't imagine hauling 60,000 pounds of machines down Vietnam's Hai Van Pass, a 13-mile, 2,600-foot drop on one of the country's most dangerous roads. Those hairpin turns at 15 miles per hour must have tested every ounce of skill and courage. Incredible view. He did it well, but I always preferred a lowboy trailer. Those hydraulic ramps just feel a bit safer.
Các bạn này. Bây giờ mình sẽ nhanh chóng di chuyển lên cái đã lên được đoạn này rồi các bạn ơi. Cái khúc tiếp theo phía trên này nhá. Để cùng lên nào. Quá nhẹ nhàng để vượt qua.
He did it well, but I always preferred a lowboy trailer. Those hydraulic ramps just feel a bit safer.
Нихуя! Пустяк. Должна упасть.
Getting that beast out of the trench is a bigger job than laying the pipe. That recovery requires some serious rigging skill and powerful cranes. Let us know in the comments. Type 1 if you thought our video was interesting, and 0 if you thought it was boring. Win or lose, that's a whole lot of American horsepower and torque on both ends of that chain. Two incredible machines showing what they're made of. That's how you know it's working hard. The load pulls the back, lifting the front. The sequence is truly flawless. LB24 drills guide holes, then LB28 threads, segmental casing at 18-inch diameter. Pile after pile locks together. Watching this precision give you faith in modern builds. Watching the Cat D6 push 200 cubic yards of brush across 2 acres feels like poetry in motion. The 165 horsepower engine hums steadily, clearing paths with smooth muscle. Nature tamed with precision. Amazing work. Look at that grater shine after 10 minutes of river rinse. Who else thinks this is a neat way to preserve 40,000-pound equipment? Drop your thoughts. River wash or pressure wash garage? What's your pick? Step right up and witness the unstoppable Cat D9. Its 100,000-pound frame plowing through piles of old sedans. When this giant rumbles, even thick steel surrenders. It's pure entertainment for anyone who loves heavy machines. On a busy day at Clearwater, the 2054 Forestry loader with limit to limber clears 15-foot spruce logs in seconds. Its hydraulic reach and constant 120 horsepower motor keep productivity high while reducing manual sawing. A solid investment. Nothing beats the sight of synchronized hydraulics at work. You've got the 5,000-pound bucket digging in as the dozer's 15,000-pound blade grips the muck. Together, they saved that 8-wheel dump truck from a sticky end. Pure engineering poetry in the middle of chaos. Hard work on that sharp slope restoration with 15 cubic yards of rock. Impressive teamwork and precision at every step. Now that's a sight for sore eyes. A D11R making quick work of a 20-foot rock. Those big cats always deliver, and with a skilled hand at the controls, there's no telling what they can move. Classic American muscle. That D11 is an absolute monster. Pulling all that weight up a 4-degree incline with such ease shows true brute strength. They weren't kidding when they said it's a beast. Impressive engineering, fellas. Anyone ever operated one of these giants? This Komatsu D155W is a wetland warrior. Packing 354 horsepower and weighing 44 short tons, its broad tracks cut ground pressure in half, letting it roam through marshes and muddy work zones that shut down other dozers. A true game changer on soft ground. Hope that operator knows what he's doing. Looks like the current is stronger than it appears. In today's match, the Cat 657 delivers a crushing blow to a 25-foot pile, moving at a solid 1 mile per hour pace. The support buggies field the debris, ensuring smooth plays. A flawless performance. Saw a lot of rigs in my time, but never quite like this. Takes some real skill and a steady hand to pull that off. Wonder how long they've been doing it this way. Looks like a real tricky situation there, trying to load that dozer in all that snow. That's some serious horsepower going vertical.
Holy.
The operator must have nerves of steel to pull that off. A real test of that D11R, pushing it to its limits. Impressive to watch. Hitachi making good machines, especially for mining. That's a solid reputation. If you're into industrial equipment, you might want to catch this video and see how they handle the tough Aussie terrain. What are your thoughts on their performance? What a mess. Glad no injuries, that's what matters most. On a tough job day, watching the L1150 knock out a full load in under 3 minutes feels like a game changer. With a 25 to 32 cubic yard bucket and a 38-ton lift, you spend less time scooping and more time moving dirt. That quick cycle also cuts down on fuel costs. Solid performer. Ever wonder how heavy machinery crosses a river? Check out the video. Makes you appreciate the folks who handle these heavy recovery operations. Not easy work. That's a master at the controls right there. Keeping that big Cat D6R dozer balanced on an incline right next to the train tracks? Not a job for the faint of heart. Impressive stuff. Not exactly standard procedure, but when you're out in the field, you use what you have. That excavator's hydraulics have some real pulling power, clearly. I've seen some big equipment in my day, but a 992G loader? That's a true titan. A 700-kilometer trip broken down over 2 days sounds like a real logistical puzzle. Impressive how they handle these huge machines. Always wondered how they move those giants. Craig Manufacturing in Heartland, New Brunswick, really knows how to build these double wings. Makes that 160 million motor grader look even more capable, doesn't it? Bet that operator knows their stuff. Not a job for the faint of heart. Pretty neat how those big tires help it float. Never seen anything quite like it for off-roading. Productivity up, downtime down. That's the kind of talk I like. This high tip sounds mighty handy for handling big piles of light stuff. Simple, effective, and built to take a beating. Thoughts? Takes real skill to pull that off without more damage. Watching the dragline excavator E10011E sweep away stubborn reed patches along the riverbank is impressive. Its long boom loosens sediment, restoring clear shoreline. A true workhorse on land and water edges.
Evet, taşın büyüklüğü makineden büyük. 180 itebilir mi bu taşı? Gel, önden bakalım.
80 tons of marble is a hefty load, even for a big cat loader. Must be a sight to behold, watching that much weight get moved around.
Nasıl lan? Mermer. Plato mermerin sahibi.
Seeing that BC-11 clean the ballast reminds me of the hidden work that keeps America's rail system strong. Essential maintenance happening in Jessup, Georgia. Caterpillar's new 988KXE is quite the innovation, being their first wheel loader with an electric drive. For heavy-duty work, better fuel efficiency means more money in your pocket. A good sign for the future of heavy equipment. Let us know in the comments. Type 1 if you thought our video was interesting, and 0 if you thought it was boring. Well, that's one way to unload a track hoe.
Cool.
So, this is how they get those high-speed signals to our homes. Using a cable layer makes a lot of sense. Guess that's why our internet's so fast now. Pretty neat to see how it's done. Old school meets new school, battling the elements. Love seeing that grit. Good to hear about that 325C. A comfortable, quiet cab makes a big difference when you're putting in long hours. My back can attest to that. Caterpillar always builds them tough. Laying a 56-inch gas pipeline on marshy ground? That's quite the feat of engineering. Bet those 10 Komatsu D355C pipe layers earned their keep on that mile of pipe. A 2006 Cat D9R weighing in at about 100,000 pounds. Now that's a machine built to last. Anyone remember running one of these back in the day? Just goes to show, even experienced folks can have an off day. Stay sharp out there, fellas. Bet that operator's been doing this for decades. You don't get that good overnight on slopes like that. No specialized recovery rig, huh? Shows you the ingenuity these folks have out in the field. What other tricks do you think they have up their sleeves for tough spots like this? You see a lot of rock on the roads, but rarely how it's made. This video gives a real peek behind the curtain. I love how the excavator eases into its work, hooking that gum tree and lifting the root ball intact. It clears space precisely for the TL lateral irrigator without tearing up extra soil. A tidy, professional touch to farmland prep. That's a classic example of momentum taking over. Once those logs started sliding, there was no stopping them. That's a wrap on Green Tech. If those Bulldozer pros blew you away, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. We'll dig up more heavy-duty action soon. Stay tuned and keep the power alive.